Welcome to the Jerry Graves channel. It's a channel that talks about narcissism and how to bring about justice. Without further ado, I'm going to jump into the topic, but first hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. All right, let's jump into it. All right, so first I'm going to say I'm starting to work on uh, elevating the channel. I'm going to start animating some of the things that I want to animate. I feel like some things are missing. Like I can clearly put like some of my ideas a little bit better. Like for instance, some people say, "How do you know how to spot a narcissist?" Because some of my videos have been pretty decent on that topic, and I describe what I see, and I'm not able to actually describe it accurately. I feel as though I could describe it better with picture or with animation and things like that. So that's going to be pretty good. But today I want to talk about how narcissists bring you around the rosy when you first start working somewhere, or a senior person in your workplace will bring you around the rosy, and how to avoid that. But how narcissists are able to confuse you at work mostly, but just in general, this can work anywhere. Whenever you make a mistake or what's perceived as a mistake, sometimes they could just change a rule or something like that if you're at work and they didn't tell you. Um, but usually, this is how it goes. They don't immediately tell you what you did wrong and how to fix it. They kind of talk to you in a vague way and have you explain. Like they just keep asking you questions about who told you that, why'd you do it like this, and they keep pausing for dramatic effect, and pausing also to let you know that it's your turn to talk. You need to start talking, even though you're just your subordinate. They're supposed to be telling you what to do. But now, if you do all this talking, if you take the bait, then at least still don't know exactly where you went wrong yet, or you don't know why it's so important. Like they're so vague, and now you're just talking to talk, and then you give them a thread of conversation that really doesn't make sense because you're confused, and then they go with that. So now let's talk about that for another couple of minutes because that's very confusing, and I know I it's going to confuse you more if we just keep talking about it. What are you talking about? Why are you what? And then it just keeps going on and on until you're thoroughly confused. And I believe uh, the best way to handle stuff like this is just to cut it off as much as you can. If you're subordinate in at a workplace or something like that, you can't really cut them off. This is why stuff like this is effective, because they keep you around them, because you can't really just cut them off. Um, so now you're explaining stuff that you don't need to explain, and they already know the answer. They've been through this a million times because they've worked there for 20 years. They've seen this mistake a million times, but for some reason they want you to explain it to them and try to figure out how you got here, and you don't know. Like, you don't remember every little step, especially since you're on the spot, and a lot of time they're talking really loud and they've gotten everybody's attention, and yeah, it gets like that. And the more advanced they are, the better and more advanced their attack is. 'Cause they could take this, when I say go around the rosy, they just add on and on and on and more steps to it. Uh, just because they've been doing this for 30 or 40 years, they know how to thoroughly confuse somebody. It's not just amateurs stop here, with what I just explained, but like the more advanced people will start talking to you in ways that are even more confusing, asking you questions that don't make sense, or things like that. To just It's violence, basically. It's violence through other means. It's not like regular violence. It's mental violence. Whenever you purposely confuse somebody, that's mental violence, and that's what they do. It's acceptable at the workplace because they're pretending to help you. They're pretending to help you learn from your mistakes, but really, it's like they're sticking a knife into you and twisting it. But again, the way to do this is you never go around the rosy. Never go around the rosy. So you just say, "I don't know." They don't need you to. They like to pretend like they need you to help them figure out how to solve this problem, but really they don't really need you to figure anything out. A lot of times, a lot of this stuff can be handled in 5 seconds. You know, if you weren't there, they would be able to correct your mistake in 5 seconds. So it's a mind game, and it's like it's something that goes on a lot. Like a lot of time, anytime that something is not done in the simplest, quickest way, and you feel like things have been drug out, it's a variation of this attack. It's going around the rosy. Cut this type of stuff off. Don't fall into the pressure of being on the spot or trying to cover up your mistakes. You gotta understand that you're a flawed person. Everybody, that's something that you gotta really uh, take in. That you're a flawed person. So you're allowed to make mistakes. You know, and you don't have to say that to them, but accept that. Start to accept your flaws. You know. But yeah, try to eject. And because if you don't, they'll start using things like sarcasm, so things that can really confuse a person. And you don't want to be confused around a narcissist. You know, that's the way that they break down your senses and break you down, constantly having you confused. So, a long story short, be cognizant of the steps of being put around the rosy. Um, it can get more and more advanced. Next thing you know, they're sending you to other people to ask questions you don't need to ask. And then you getting bounced around and really going around. The point of the video is to study the steps of confusion and how it all happens so that you can get better and better at not being confused and deconfusing yourself. And hopefully this helps. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Peace. And leave a like. So I've seen people in this routine with allowing you to try to help them figure stuff out, and then as or I've seen them uh, send you to somebody else to ask a question about something that you really shouldn't be asking, like they already know the answer to, but they pretend not to. So just to further confuse you, to send you around and make you do a couple of laps, and then the next person sends you somewhere else, like wondering why are you even asking them? Why would you ask Ray? And the next you go and find Ray, and then you ask, and then you finally make yourself back to the narcissist, and you really went a complete circle around the whole workplace, all because you're confused. And some people are better at this than others. Don't fall for the whole, anytime a narcissist is trying to have you teach them something or figure something out for them, you already know that's a trap, because narcissists, they think that they're smarter than you, so they're not going to be coming to you to figure something out, especially if they've have more experience than you at this thing. If they've been at the job longer than you, they're not going to ask you to figure something out. So if you're over here trying to figure something out with a narcissist, and it started off with your mistake, then you already know that this is just a bunch of confusion. This is a bunch of confusion, and it's evil. And people don't think confusion's evil, but that's one of the main ways to dominate somebody. You confuse them first. So pull yourself out of it, you know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much the video. Hopefully that helps. Peace.